6 p.m. Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan, the news read by Zahra Sikandar. First, the headlines. Pakistan Armed Forces continue to give a strong and effective response to unprovoked aggression of Afghan Taliban. President and Prime Minister have expressed resolve to protect sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Ministers of Saudi Arabia and Turkey have telephonically discussed the situation along Pak-Afghan border. International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for Afghan Taliban's Supreme Leader Habibullah Akhundzada over the persecution of women and other groups. All parties through a conference have strongly denounced BJP-led Indian government's continued muscular and coercive policies in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And in Super 8 round of ICC T20 World Cup, England will face New Zealand in Colombo today. Now, the news in detail. Pakistan Armed Forces continue to give a strong and effective response to the unprovoked aggression of Afghan Taliban. According to the security sources, Pakistan's armed forces completely destroyed several important posts and headquarters of the Afghan Taliban, fully utilizing Air Force artillery, firepower, and quadcopters. Key military installations of Afghan Taliban regime in Kabul, Kandahar, and Paktia have been destroyed in effective airstrikes. 2 brigade headquarters in Kabul were destroyed during Pakistan Air Force airstrikes. Similarly, 1 corps headquarters and a brigade headquarters were also destroyed in airstrikes in Kandahar. During Pakistani Army's effective response, the Afghan Taliban's posts and camps, including Shapula Camp, Khyber Post, and Kavar Post, have suffered severe damage. In Paktika, security forces seized 5 Afghan posts and hoisted Pakistan's flags. The Afghan Taliban's corps headquarters have also been destroyed in Paktika. Afghan's terminal in Angur Adda was also destroyed by the security forces. Security forces inflicted heavy damage on Afghan border terminal post, Afghan post in Varsik sector, and Taliban's Manu Jabba post on the Pak-Afghan border. The armed forces captured Topsar post and Topsar sector of Afghan Taliban. President Asif Ali Zardari and Prime Minister Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif have expressed resolve to protect peace and stability and territorial integrity of the country. In their statements, they said no one should have the misconception that Pakistan will be coerced by pressure or intimidation. In a statement, President said that Pakistani nation and valiant armed forces stood like a rock wall to protect the integrity of the motherland and its borders. He said the response capability of Pakistan's armed forces is comprehensive, timely and decisive, and they have the full capacity to uproot the evil intentions of the enemy. Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif, in his statement, said the people and the armed forces of Pakistan are always ready to protect the country's security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. He said the armed forces of Pakistan are committed for not allowing any kind of threat to the peace and security of the country. Minister for Information and Broadcasting Atal Attar has said that Fitna al-Khawarij terrorists have attempted to launch small drones in Abbottabad, Sawabi, and Nowshera. In a post on his X handle, he said anti-drone systems have brought down all the drones and said there has been no damage to life. The information minister said the incidents have again exposed direct linkages between Afghan Taliban regime and terrorism in Pakistan. International community has expressed willingness to play a constructive role in de-escalating the situation along Pak-Afghan border. In this regard, United Nations spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is following the situation with concern. The spokesperson Stephen Dujarric said the Secretary-General urges relevant parties to comply with their obligations under international law and to ensure the protection of civilians. Similarly, responding to the media queries at the regular press briefing in Beijing today, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said China has been mediating the Pak-Afghan conflict through its own channels. She said that China supports combating all forms of terrorism and calls on both sides to achieve a ceasefire as soon as possible to avoid more suffering. Meanwhile, in a post on social media platform X, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said that Iran is ready to provide all possible assistance to facilitate the dialogue and promote mutual cooperation. Deputy Prime Minister Mohammad Isagdar held telephonic conversations with Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan to discuss recent regional developments, including the situation along the Pak-Afghan border. Isagdar underscored that Pakistan responded befittingly to the unprovoked Afghan aggression under Operation Ghazab lil Haq to safeguard its sovereignty and territorial integrity. The Senate today unanimously passed a resolution unequivocally condemning the unprovoked aggression and hostile cross-border actions emanating from the territory of Afghanistan. The resolution, moved by PPP leader Sherry Rahman, described them as blatant violation of international law, established diplomatic norms, and the principles of peaceful neighborly relations. The resolution emphatically declared that any attempt to challenge the sovereignty, territorial integrity of national security of Pakistan constitutes a direct affront to the dignity of the Pakistani nation and shall be met with a firm, proportionate, and decisive response. The House paid tribute to the bravery, professionalism, and sacrifice of Pakistan's armed forces and law enforcement personnel who stand vigilant in defense to every inch of the homeland. This is Radio Pakistan. International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrant for the Taliban's supreme leader Habibullah Akhundzada and the Taliban's Chief Justice Abdul Hakim Haqqani. The warrants state that both were involved in persecution against girls, women, and other groups. The 7th anniversary of Operation Swift Retort was observed today. Launched on this day in 2019, Operation Swift Retort was a decisive response to India's unprovoked aggression, reaffirming Pakistan's commitment to safeguarding its sovereignty. The operation showcased the operational excellence and readiness of the armed forces, effectively deterring further aggression and restoring strategic balance. Chief of Army Staff and Chief of Defense Forces Field Marshal Syed Asim Munir, Naval Chief Admiral Naveed Ashraf, and Air Chief Zahir Babar Sidhu have paid tribute to the courage, professionalism, and sacrifices of their personnel on the anniversary. Field Marshal and Services Chiefs reiterated their unwavering commitment to Pakistan's national security and regional peace, emphasizing the readiness of the armed forces to counter any threats. In this connection, addressing a ceremony, Air Chief Zahir Ahmed Babar Sidhu said Pakistan is a responsible country which desires peace with honor. He recalled that 7 years ago, the aggressor miscalculated Pakistan's resolve and capability by challenging its sovereignty under the cover of darkness. He said Pakistan Air Forces made a broad daylight response, re-established credible deterrence against a numerically superior adversary. All parties to a conference have strongly denounced BJP-led Indian government's continued muscular and coercive policies in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a statement, APHC spokesperson Advocate Abdul Rashid Minhas urged New Delhi to abandon its militaristic approach and initiate a meaningful political process to resolve the long-standing Kashmir dispute. The spokesperson also called upon the international community to play an effective role in facilitating a peaceful resolution of the Kashmir dispute. Meanwhile, talking to reporters, People's Democratic Party President Mehbooba Mufti criticized Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recent visit to Israel. She said that Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu is responsible for civilian deaths in Gaza, and International Criminal Court also indicted him. In Super 8 round of ICC T20 World Cup, England will face New Zealand in Colombo today. The match will start at 6:30 in the evening. And finally, the weather. The Met Office has forecast mainly dry weather in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours, while cold in hill areas during the night. Partly cloudy weather with light rain may occur at a few places in Gilgit-Baltistan. The temperatures in the plain areas are expected to remain above normal. And this brings us to the end of the bulletin for the moment. For more news and analysis, visit our website, radio.gov.pk. And also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.